Hello, and welcome to the last day at the second meeting of states parties to the UN Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. What a week! The Monday started with a high-level segment where we had foreign ministers, nuclear weapon survivor Soichi Kido, ICAN's executive director Melissa Park, and Izumi Nakamitsu, High Representative for Disarmament, on behalf of the UN Secretary General, talking. Different from last year's meeting of states parties in Vienna, we did not have a first conference on the humanitarian consequences on nuclear weapons and then the state party meetings. This year, the focus on the humanitarian consequences of nuclear weapons were included in the meeting, and we started out with two panel discussions on the humanitarian impact of nuclear weapons, really centering this topic in the treaty and the focus of the treaty. 60 governments spoke in the general debate. We had statements from a lot of civil society organizations, from youths, from parliamentarians, and a statement that really touched me was the joint statement from affected communities. State parties have discussed different aspects of the treaty, and their informal working groups have presented their reports and reported on the 50 steps from the Vienna Action Plan decided in last year's state party meetings. They've discussed Article 12, universalization, how we can get every state on board. Article 4, disarmament verification. Article 5, national implementation measures. Article 6 and 7, victim assistance, environmental remediation, and international cooperation. We've discussed the intersessional structure, and the scientific advisory group presented their report. Later on, we will hear from 3 of the experts in that group. But the week is not over in the Trusteeship Council. We hope that the state parties today will adopt the declaration. They will discuss complementarity with existing nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation regimes and the gender provisions of the treaty. But there's not just inside the Trusteeship Council things has happened this week. Outside the Trusteeship Council, there's been dozens of events, concerts, art exhibitions, panel discussion, marches, sit-ins. There's been a parliamentarian conference, a youth MSP. There's been a Wall Street TPNW event, a survivors forum, and much more. It has been a busy week. Today, our roaming reporter Emma talked to campaigners just before they started in the Trusteeship Council. Over to you, Emma.
Good morning, everyone. This is Emma for MSP-TV, and I'm here at the UN on day 5, the final day of the second meeting of states parties to the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. The first session of the day is about to start in the Trusteeship Council behind me, and so I am going to go find some folks to hear their thoughts on how this week has gone, how the second meeting of states parties has gone, and what their hopes are for the final day.
So this second meeting of states parties is saying no to nuclear deterrence, and never before has a group of countries come together and said that this is a security problem, not a security solution.
I'm really proud and excited about how amazing this week has been. I think that it's been an incredible opportunity to bring so many people together from different facets of the nuclear disarmament community, and I'm very energized to see how many young people and representatives of impacted communities have been here this week telling their stories and perspectives.
It's been so good this week to see so many friends and experts from affected communities. Their stories and their expertise is being worked in the process, and I'm going to shout out my colleague Alicia, who I know has done a lot of work on this, and they had the coolest statement, I think signed by 26 organizations led by affected communities, that was read during the sessions, and it's pretty much one of a kind, and we haven't had something like that since probably the 2017 negotiations. So it's been really nice to see that and just catch up with friends. And yeah, everyone.
Hi, I'm Myron Hofan from the International Physicians for Prevention of Nuclear War. This has been an extraordinary meeting with unbelievable energy and people from all over the world coming together, absolutely committed to getting rid of nuclear weapons once and for all. The energy has been fantastic. The scientific sessions and the presentations by the Scientific Advisory Group have been really astonishingly good. And it's just been a terrific atmosphere here that we're going to succeed in this.
It's been just so exciting to be here. It's like a big reunion to get recharged, refreshed, and keep going for this important work. And I just feel being here, I feel this encouragement. It's almost like being at the part of the humanitarian consequences or negotiations conferences where I can really feel the shift in the discourse, you know, talking about the humanitarian consequences of nuclear weapons, talking about deterrence as the security problem. I just really think we're marching toward nuclear abolition.
All right, back to you, Tuva.
Thank you, Emma. I'm here with 3 amazing guests. They're all part of the scientific advisory group, and this morning they also presented for campaigners here in the UN building, and the room was packed. So we are very lucky that they've had the time to come here and talk to us today. Ivana Huge, president of Nuclear Age Peace Foundation and a senior lecturer on chemistry at Columbia University. Moritz Kutt, senior researcher at the Institute for Peace and Security Policy at the University of Hamburg, and a visiting researcher with the Global Program on Science and Global Security at Princeton. And Gerardo Suarez Reynoso, professor at the National University of Mexico, and a former head of the International Monitor System of the CTBTO. What a group. Thank you so much for being here. Yesterday, you presented a report to the state parties, a report from your work. Can you tell us a bit more? What is this group and what's the report about?
Yeah, thanks for having us and welcome. We are the Scientific Advisory Group. We are a group of 15 scientists. Not all of us could fit in the camera picture. We work on issues to support the TPNW's implementation on scientific issues. And we were nominated by the states parties to play this role. And this is actually the first time that an international treaty on nuclear weapons has such a group. So this is new to every one of us. And one of the biggest steps in our work was the report that was mentioned. So we wrote a big report on the status of nuclear weapons, on nuclear weapons risk, humanitarian consequences of nuclear weapons, the consequences of weapon testing, as well as, you know, all the scientific developments that are ongoing for disarmament. And so this report is available on the conference website. So if you're interested, you can find it there.
Thank you so much. And Gerardo, what is actually like now? This group is now part of the meeting and part of the TPNW. What's the importance of researchers, states, and civil society working together?
Yes, it is very important because, as Moritz said, there are 15 of us with very diverse backgrounds in the scientific advisory group. But nevertheless, we don't cover the whole scope, nor can we manage the work that we believe needs to be done on the important articles of the treaty: verification, victim assistance, and environmental remediation. So we are also tasked, and we have begun doing this, with putting together a list of institutions and a list of scientists in all fields that will allow us to do research in some of the very important topics that we have to deal with. Up to now, and thanks to the work of 2 of my colleagues especially, we have put together a list of about 400 institutions and scientists who may help us in this task, and the list is growing. And yesterday I was happy to hear from some of the member states that they want to contribute, that they want to nominate their own scientists and their own institutions, which I think is what we're looking for. We're still, frankly, trying to understand how we will use this tremendous expertise that is out there in the world, both of the scientific community and of the NGOs, to put it to good use in the advancements of the TPNW. But we're working on it, and I am confident that with that expertise, once we have a clearer mission from the member states, we will be able to productively use their expertise in the advancement of the TPNW.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward to see how this unfolds. Ivan,
Me too.
that's good. Ivana, what's important, do you think, on the way forward for this group?
Absolutely. Thank you, Tuva, so much. Let me just underscore a couple of points that my colleagues, Moritz and Gerardo, have already made. The one is that we're unique, and so in many ways, we are charting this path, and so engagement with other relevant stakeholders is going to be key in charting the right path forward. But just to focus a little bit on the states parties themselves, there is, of course, the coordinating committee of the treaty and the working groups on the various articles of the treaty. And so one of the ways is we, in fact, approach only, we're just approaching our first year of existence. We were constituted in February, had held our first meeting on March 1. As we approach that first anniversary and then into the second year of our existence, the key thing I think will be to think about ways in which we can directly support the states parties in their efforts to implement the treaty. So there are obvious links, Article 4 on verification, Article 6 and 7 on victim assistance and environmental remediation, where, of course, not all of the answers are scientific in nature, but some of the answers to questions are scientific in nature. And I think that involvement will be really key to not just pushing the work of this group forward, but pushing the treaty forward. And that's what we're all here to do.
Thank you so much. And I think I talk on behalf of all campaigners when I say that we are really grateful for you using your expertise to push this treaty forward, and that it's super helpful when we do our work in our countries. We kind of lean on the work you are doing. So thank you so much. And thank you for taking the time to be here with us today. It's a busy day in the UN, the last day. Today there will be some key decisions taken, hopefully a declaration. And now I get like I got a message from behind the scenes that we have like a huge announcement in this very moment. Next MSP in 2025 will be from the 3rd of March to the 7th of March here in the UN. So you can already mark the dates in your calendar. And in order to get the latest update on this MSP, remember to tune in at 5 p.m. Eastern Time to MSP-TV. Thank you so much.